I want to invite to this topic Danylo Tsvyok, Chief Officer from Ministry of Digital Transformation. Oleksii Nishchyk, Chief Growth Officer from Genesis. Daria Romashchenko, Senior IP Lawyer from AEQUO. And Yaroslav Prytula, the first Pro-Rector of Ukrainian Catholic University. Hello, I wonder if you can hear me. Yes, so we hear you well. So then let's start. And Danylo, a question to you. We know that this year, Ministry of Digital Transformation, Center of Excellence, and we hear that they have a lot of projects in Ukraine developing AI, but they often start from bottom up, from grassroots. So what are the steps that Ministry of Digital Transformation has already done or planning to do to unite it all in some kind of system? What are the barriers that you can see on the way? Thank you, Iryna, for the question. Hello, everyone. Yeah, this for some months now, AI Center of Excellence is working. An organization that is responsible for practical implementation of AI in the public sector. And so I would rather talk not about the barriers. We are perceive the barriers as challenges, but we have to focus on what we're actually doing. What is the systemic approach that we have to, first of all, AI, to have AI present as much as possible in the state and the life of Ukrainians, in AI cases and ecosystem in general. So first of all, let me tell you, you have to talk about systemic approach. When we talk about systemic approaches, we talk about strategy. Ukraine needs a all-through strategy, technology that will be everywhere. I don't think there are skeptics here who will tell you differently. Second thing important, why we're focusing on that, is when cases in Ukraine to be emerging quick and easy, so to understand what kind of capability we're working on the mapping, proactive mapping. We have two priority thing. It's projects that optimize internal processes, making more effective, and second is projects that can use AI for the benefit of citizens. For citizens to have more convenient services. There are two things that we focus on. So we're working on strategy, and you can join the strategy from all the sectors and anyone from community who can want to contribute to this. And two more important focal points. So just as in a strategy that we're working on right now, the next thing which is important for us is to shape a sovereign AI. And so we're talking about creating independence and powerful infrastructure. Startups, so it's a boost and unlock to understand that your data is stored here in Ukraine. And second important step in sovereign AI is creating a Ukrainian large language model with Ukrainian context, which is part of sovereign AI, which will create new opportunities and will implement Ukrainian digital DNA in the world context. Those are the things that we focus more and deeper, more detail. We will be able to tell you in the strategy. It's going to be implemented by the end, started next year, end of this year. So everyone, please, we encourage you to be active, and we hope to participate in all the communities members. These are high priority things we focus on. So let's talk about the business side. There are in Ukraine more than 240 companies involved in AI development. Can you tell us, please, how do we transfer this quantity into quality so that we have a new unicorn AI or some kind of breakthrough? I know that Genesis is working a lot with AI. I know that there are startups. Maybe you will share, because you're already moving in this direction. We don't know yet. Well, thank you for this question. Greetings, everyone. We just before this we had a workshop. There are people who were present. The CEO of some of the businesses from Genesis ecosystem, Coffee Mind, Sergey Mazur, he's making an AI lookalike, or an AI brother who will you can delegate decision making, and so we are moving in that direction, creating AI products. You're saying that we have 240 AI companies, and I would like us to have 280 AI products. The point is that technology is, of course, important. I myself, as a graduate from tech specialty, so I was taught about technologies, but I was never taught to create products. So in order for any big company to create technologies, well, it's rare. Any big company creates products. Then we have to learn to create products and to actually satisfy requests of specific users. Are we? So the Russian plane that is still somehow intact is in the air, but we don't know what is it doing. Maybe it's falling. So we continue. So in order for our companies to be famous and great, we need to create more products, because I've seen many cases of 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where we could do great technology, make great technologies, but we rarely can create great products, and that's what Genesis is busy as a local company, because we've learned in 16 years to create products, and that's why we have hundreds of millions of users, and they're using products. Is there AI there or not? In most, yes, there is AI. It's integrated. But if we do technologies and we don't understand what kind of need do we satisfy, why and what are we creating, then these 240 companies will remain just companies, and we won't know much about them. So that's why creating products and satisfying the needs of users, that will help us develop our business globally. Thank you. That's great. That's a great point. We'll get back to it later, and education as well. But Daria, I wanted to go back to you and how AI can be and should be regulated, because EU now is finalizing implementation of the AI Act. In Ukraine, we should not lag behind. We have to be ahead of them. But we know that innovations don't always are friends for regulations. So what do we have to do not to choke the innovations by over-regulation? Thank you for this question. Greetings, everyone. I'm happy to have a great interest for AI. So this strong interest to AI creates both the need to step back from over-regulation to make everybody capable of using it freely, but also regulation to prevent some abuse of AI. So I am more on the side of what the Ministry of Digital Transformation is saying, which is reflected in the White Book of AI regulation. So we are choosing the strategy to learn on somebody else's mistakes rather than on your own mistakes. So if we are now introducing regulation that bans everything and introduces stringent limits to use AI as such, that will be the barrier to create those 250,000 potential products that we can create in Ukraine. So that's why in legal regulations, there are things that we should not necessarily regulate by law. When we don't know about them yet because the AI is developing too fast and we don't understand how much of the interference the state should have in it. Because if we want to ban or prevent something, that in itself can be a hurdle to create the best user experience and prevent the state from using it alongside with all the users. So that's why I think we need to move with the flow, with this wave, and maybe find out what can we regulate as ethical businesses that don't need interference of the state as such, and what things should actually be regulated. And even alongside with the as the European Union is creating regulations, but the question is of implementation and practical enforcement of those limitations that EU will be imposing. They are still kind of raw and it's too early to talk about how it's going to be used. So it's best for us to observe how effective they will be with this, and then to create a much better regulations for learning from their mistakes for the best case of our users, not for the state that overregulates everything and is in everyone's pockets. So now we're thinking about regulations, which is okay, but in the future, of course, we will develop some state-of-the-art approaches to introduce just the necessary regulation, not to go overboard, but will also allow us to tame AI, so to say. That's a great answer. I hear it a lot on international conferences. Whenever we talk about ethics of using AI in particular, and it's always a responsibility of each of us and the state as well. So where we're using AI, how we're using it, from developers to businesses. Now I'd like
to go to our conclusion. Panelist Yaroslav, can you hear me? Yes, hello Iryna, can you hear me? All right, I can hear you. Basically, I deal with education. It's in my heart. Education is a foundation for everything, whatever development we would talk about. If we don't have education, if we don't have the next generation of AI specialists, whatever we are talking about, it doesn't have sense. Despite the fact that throughout last 3 years, more than 100 AI programs were created, we also know that curriculum can be outdated, and we are lacking the practitioners in the lines of the teachers. Also, the foreign experience is not implemented. When we don't have enough talents, it doesn't have sense. So the question to you, Yaroslav, how the Ukrainian education has to change that the young students would choose to stay in Ukraine and, as Oleksii said, to create products in Ukraine, product-based businesses in Ukraine. Hello, people. It's a pain for me that I'm not here with you, but in Lviv. Thank you for the question. Indeed, a lot of programs have been created. Stop News program, AI program. It's good, but we can basically create much more. In our university, we already have 5 programs. And the pure mathematics tells us that we multiply 100 programs by 30 students. We have 3,000 specialists. Is it much or not too much? I'm not sure. But if we would have 3,000 specialists in a year, we'll need to deal with the question of quality. How much those specialists basically respond to the needs in the sphere. It's important not the quality, but not the quantity, but the quality. The one great specialist in the AI sphere worth more than 1,000 mediocre specialists. Then it says that in Ukraine, where we have 100 programs or more, we need to have a few of the highest world quality. that would allow us to create the world quality products. What's important in this respect is the independence of the programs and universities, that they would be able to create that. Both ideological, managerial, financial. The world had such precedents. In the this year, I had a meeting in the Zurich Technological University where Mina Tischer gave a speech. She is a professor of mathematics in Israel. She is a researcher, Ministry of Science and Technologies. She was leading the research foundation of the United States and Israeli. And she responded to the question on which way Israel during the war it received such a powerful technological level. So, and she saw that the main factor is applied research, the culture of risk-taking in universities most of all, and to have the secure space for innovations. If we are talking about the universities and educational innovations. Also, a lot of us already heard it. I would repeat it nevertheless. This is the answer of MIT professor when the Russian statesman asked him about how to resolve the innovation problem. And he answered that you want to have the milk without the cow. Democracy without the democracy and innovation is impossible. The same here. The possibility to develop innovations connected with AI without the proper support in proper educational spheres, without proper steps from ministry, it would limit those educational and developmental opportunities. And the ministry indeed makes a lot of positive steps that we can see from other side, and you as a private university can face some number of limitations for the private universities which are being imposed both in the private and the state sector. But I will not talk much about that. I would say that the universities by themselves won't be able to resolve those tasks, because we need to deal with environment, and the main factors for the success both on the state level and on the education and the university level is infrastructure. To develop education, we need to have computing capacities. We need to be able to use cloud technologies abroad to develop important computing capabilities in defense tech. For example, we need to have the digital sovereignty, so to say. So those capacities should be also inside Ukraine. Also, we won't be able to do super innovation products without their attachment to the concrete sphere. So we also need to develop the business education and market. Our market is not large, but for example, defense project, this market is large now, and it displays how much startups are developing in the defense technologies market, and it shows us how to develop those markets. We need to develop artificial intelligence solutions in different spheres, biotech, economy, and other spheres. But for that, we need specialists not only from AI sphere, but also from other spheres which are open to implement those solutions. Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you. Education is, as I told, something is my heart, but we are indeed limited in time which we are running out of. I would like to call you one more time, and I would ask you the final question, and please 30 seconds to answer. Let's imagine 26th year, June, one of the results of your sphere that would convince you that Ukraine moves forward in the right direction in the AI sphere. One result. 30 seconds. First, our mission is to be top 3 in the level of implementation of AI in education, and all those things that were mentioned by the speakers, we work with them. This is first thing. Top 3, and during the year we want to become the most fast developing AI country. If you take the average index Oxford, then let's talk about top 3 breakthrough at least, top 30 breakthrough at least, one result. Top 30 breakthrough, a lot of things needs to be done. Education infrastructure, model, it's already a minute, I'm finishing now. And AI needs to be a boost that Russian MiGs would not fly over during our event. Kremlin took $1 billion. It's AI company. Cursor is the company that was fastest to receive 1 billion in result. If we will have at least one company with $500 million plus, that would be a great result for the business and for the country. That would display that we are indeed developing our industry. The best achievement for 2026 would be the creation of certain legislative development that would create us as consumers, that AI would help us as businesses to create ethical AI products, and would also protect country as the center of sovereign AI. Yaroslav, thank you. I support Danylo in the respect that the national language model would be the game changer in a lot of economy sphere, in medicine, finances, defense, tax. So I hope really much that we will succeed in creating our LLM. And I would also hope that in a year we will create Ukrainian iron shield that would hit all the targets flying over Ukraine and to Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the panel. I think that every speaker would be glad to chat after the event.